dry, and what you're seeing is a close-up of what you got. I mean, it's got a real thick impasto look to it. It's got the painterly look is what, you know, we were going for. And what we're going to do now is we're going to top coat it. And what I use to top coat this with is I wanted to top coat this with a wax, you know, but I didn't want to use an oil base. I wanted to use an acrylic, and the reason why is because everything else is acrylic on it, and the oil seemed to bite into the acrylic pretty hard. So what I did is I took aqua wax by Faux, and I thinned it out about 25% with water, and then they have a, because aqua wax dries so slow and it's more of a trowelable product, I wanted to make it brushable, but when you brush it, it dries so fast that it will, what's called flashing, it'll give you an uneven sheen. So what I did is I thinned it out with 25% water, and then I took another product that Faux has called So Slow, and what it is an extender, and I love this stuff. I mean, I hit it pretty hard with extender. I probably hit it with about at least 10%, you know, well, maybe not that much, more like 5%. But the idea is you want to get it to dry slow, so it, you know, so it doesn't leave uneven sheen. So, you know, you can see, you know, it's still pretty thick, but it drips. And if you're familiar with aqua wax, this stuff will stay right on the stick. It won't drip or anything. So the whole idea is to get a nice even sheen, a nice glossy look to it. You know, normally I would use, you know, I'm a fan of C500. I know a lot of people out there aren't a fan of it, but you know, I've never had a problem with it. I love C500. But the object here, this here is, you got to brush it out fast, and you don't want to leave it puddled up because it will cloud on you wherever it's thicker. And so all you do is you take and you brush it out. You'll feel how it glides right on. You know, it almost feels like an oil once you add that extender to it. And you'll know when it's right, because if it starts dragging on you, then you know you got to add more water to it and probably more extender. But you can see, you know, I'm putting it on, you know, not real heavy, but heavy enough to where I don't get any holidays in the, you know, in the finish. I mean, you want to be able to get this with one coat. You know, I mean, you can do 2 coats, you know, but I try to do things a little different than everyone else. And, you know, and this is basically a quick finish. And if you apply it right, you can get this to cover in one coat. So you can see I'm on there pretty thin, and it does dry clear. You don't want to go too heavy. You don't want to leave it puddled up in the corners. You know, you want to be able to pull it out. You know, it doesn't take much on the brush. You know, you can see already how it's starting to go clear, which means I probably don't have enough extender in there because it's drying pretty fast. But if you work fast enough, you know, you can get this to lay out really nice with a brush. And the end result is, you know, it gives a hand polished kind of look, and then after it dries, you just buff it with a dry cloth, and I mean, it looks really nice. You know, I love the way it looks. And you just go right over the gold and everything. It'll bond, because the Ronin is a water base also. And you can see, you know, I'm going back over, you know, and I see if I didn't have that extender in there, and if I didn't have it thinned out, I wouldn't be able to do this. You know, it would just be, you know, it would be dragging and, you know, and all the other kind of stuff on there, you know, that normally, you know, some top coats do. So you know, it gives me plenty of time to where, you know, I can pull out the heavy. You don't want to leave big spots in the corners because those will dry white, you know, but if you get a couple of them in there, you can just take the black and touch them up, and then just touch it up with a little bit of the wax. Now, the thing about this wax is, if you end up with something in the middle of this board, and you try to touch it up, you're going to see it, you know. So that's the advantage of putting a texture on there, because the texture is going to hide anything like that, you know. So, and that's what I did after I laid it out. You know, I applied a little bit of texture to it, you know, to break up the, you know, kind of give it another layered kind of look. So you just brush it on, be quick. You can come back over it and even it out. You know, but you don't want to puddle it up. You want to make sure you get tight in all these corners. You can see over here already, it's clear. You know, so I've been working with this for a while, and I've already done all the doors. And this stuff will start to, once you mix it, it will start to get thick again. You know, and once you don't mix up a lot at a time, mix enough up for what you're going to do with it. You know, because, you know, overnight it'll thicken up. And then once you hit, you want to mix the water in before you put the so slow in. You know, because I noticed when I put the so slow in before the water, it had a tendency to, you know, not mix up, you know, as easily. You know, I mean, when you first put the water in, it'll kind of cottage cheese up on you and look like cottage cheese, but if you keep mixing it, it doesn't take long. It'll go back to a liquid consistency. And then once you get where you want it, then you add the so slow to it, and it just, you know, it just brushes out really nice. And it's got a high sheen to it, you know, and I want that high sheen, you know, because the look of the place that we're doing this for does have a bit of a contemporary look to it. You know, and as you know, there's a lot of high gloss, black lacquers and things like that, you know, that are real popular for contemporary, you know, kind of look. And, you know, what I'm doing here, you see how it brushed out? I gotta hit a little bit more on there. You can see how it's already getting clear. What I do is I save the edges. What I got excess, build up around the edge. This is what I use on my edges. Because it's a bit thicker. You know, I mean, believe it or not, you know, it'll thicken up, you know, as you're using it. Not a lot, but it will. See, and then I hit my edges, and then I go back over the face of the edge. I just even that out. Now you will have a little bit of roughness to the doors from the putting the medium on here and there. You might want to check the door before you hit it with the top coat. There might be little, you know, little burrs and little, you know, little grains and stuff in there. you know, and believe it or not, this will sand, you know, pretty easily, but you don't want to hit it real hard. You know, if you hit it real hard with a piece of sandpaper, it'll actually discolor it. You know, and not that that's a bad thing, but if you hit it too hard and it goes white on you, you know, then you're gonna have to touch it up with the black. You can see how quick this is. I just top coated 20 doors, and it only took me an hour and a half, I think. You can see it goes really quick. I mean, the so slow, when you put the so slow in here, it gives it like an oily feel. I mean, it just, you know, it glides on really nice. You know, and when you catch your edge, see how that edge rolls over? You want to hit that again because that'll flash on you. You'll be able to see two different sheens. You know, and I mean, you just do a second coat, and that'll take care of that. You know, if you have a problem with it. There you go. That's one coat. And as it dries, it gets a real nice shine to it. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? You know, see how even the sheen is? You know, so it gives it a contemporary, you know, kind of shine to it, but yet it's, you know, it's got an old world look. And that is popular right now with interior designers, or at least it is down here in Florida. And they really, you know, are mixing the old with the new now, you know, and believe it or not, this is, you know, this finish is pretty durable. I mean, I've used aqua wax in quite a few different jobs, and once that stuff cures out, I mean, it gets, you know, it gets pretty durable, pretty hard. You know, and this over top of the medium will actually help it, you know, harden up a little bit. But you know, when you're using that gel over top with the set coat, you know, I mean, you don't want it 1/8 of an inch thick. You know, I mean, that's just too thick. You know, I mean, you can, and it will dry out over time. But the thicker it is, you know, then it's going to be a little bit, you know, soft, and it'll stay soft for a while. Kind of pull that, you know, see, I'm using a dry chip brush, you know, to kind of pull that corner out a little bit. You don't want to, you know, you don't want to pull a dry spot in there. You know, I just saw that and I wanted to get that out of there. Because if you leave it, you know, if you leave it built up in the corner, which I'm sure a lot of you know, it'll dry white. You know, but I haven't, you know, I just went through 20 doors and I haven't seen any issue like that at all. I guess you could use a different kind of clear coat, different kind of wax, as long as it's, you know, as long as it's an acrylic, you know, it'll bond to it. The only thing is, I don't really like to use an oil wax over top of an acrylic, you know, because it does bite into it too hard, and you have a tendency to cloud on you. And the main thing with that is what you want to do is seal your surface before you use an oil wax. You know, I mean, you want to, you know, put a sealer on it and then wax it. You know, I had a question that's on my blog. I had a young lady ask me about, you know, why she was using Libron over black, and what had happened was it clouded on her, and the reason why is because she was trying to go over a acrylic latex paint, and she put it on too heavy, you know, and luckily she used the Libron that was reversible, and she was able to, you know, take mineral spirits and get some of it off, and then, you know, and she was fine after that. But you know, Libron is, you know, is a very good wax. I love this stuff, you know. But this here, you know, is, you know, it's a nice, you know, I mean, I'm just blown away by the whole finish, you know. I mean, it's short, it's simple. It's just, you know, one coat. Well, if you add the texture coat, then that's two, but you can get it all on, you know, in a matter of an hour, you know, and then let it dry overnight, clear coat it, and you're done. You're back to install. And it's cost effective for not only you, but, you know, for your client too. And, you know, and it works, you know, I was really surprised how well it works. You know, like I said, you know, I had, you know, I belong to the faux forum, and, you know, I posted some pictures of the actual credenza on there, and I had several artists that were, you know, helping, you know, on trying to determine what that finish was. And you know, there was a couple ideas that we come up with. One was a two-part epoxy, which really worked when I combined it with water and mineral spirits. I mean, it actually looked just like the finish. But the problem was I couldn't do it on a vertical surface, you know, and like I explained earlier, I thought of the gel medium, and, you know, I mean, it's not exactly like the finish, but it does look similar, and it complements it. The background color of the stain was actually very close to what the finish was, so, you know, I didn't have to go through all the, you know, base coating and everything else. But, you know, I would recommend using a bond and primer, you know, on this before you do this finish. You know, but it really depends on the client too. It depends on, you know, time frame and things like that. I mean, this stuff is on there. I mean, I just tried to, you know, I mean, it will come off, you know, if you scrape it hard enough, you know, but if you don't have to, why? You know, I mean, this is, you know, this is a cabinet makeover. It's not supposed to be, you know, a factory finish, you know, and it works. So there you have it. Now this is my name's Art Moorhead. I'm with Art Faux Designs. It's my company. And if you have any questions, you can go to my blog, which is art-faux.com, and I've got a lot of information on there. I got some how-tos, some instructional, you know, because I believe in sharing what I do. And this will also be on the blog, so I hope you have fun with it.